Hey everybody, this is going to be a really short video. It's going to be our episode 5. I'm going to give you an update on how I plan on fixing the problem that I showed you last time with the front of this thing. So if you recall, in the last episode, we built up this cardboard mock-out that we had to kind of ditch the insides to figure it out. So I've been really pondering how I'm going to do this, and here's what I arrived at. I took the piece of wood that I had lined up in the front, and I cut it like this. And you'll see I have a lap joint in there, right there. You can see I cut out a lap right here and right here. And the reason why I did that is because I have this piece of very thin plywood, which is perfect. So if I take it and put it over like that, it works out perfectly. And then if I take one of these boards that I've created that lap joint and go like this, obviously it's not glued and clamped. It doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. And we do the same thing here. I don't have any worries. Everything's going to work out perfectly. Let me pull the shot back. So all I really need to do is glue here and reinforce, and I can do that and make this thing very solid. So that's how we're going to handle this thing. So I've already cut the boards. They're loosely fit. This piece of plywood is slightly warped, but when I glue it and put the reinforcements behind it, it'll straighten right up. I made sure that I had the piece, it's bowing out this way, so I made sure that I'll pull it back in when I put the brace on the back. And that's how we're going to do it. So our problem is solved there. So we're gonna glue this thing up, and we're gonna be fine. Then we can continue with the construction. I also got in the beveled glass that I'm going to use for the top. If you recall, we're going to use a piece of beveled glass on the top, on the door that opens, so that you can see the blue light. So here's our piece of glass, pretty small in relative size, but I may use 2 of them. I have 2 of them, so I may put 1, 2 up here, so you can see the reflection of the blue lights through there. So we're making some really good progress. So I'm going to glue this thing up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Let's do that. Okay, we have our front panel glued together, and we'll show you the construction. Let's take a look at it. So you'll see here, we have one nice solid piece. Very nice. We have our lap joints. Get a closer look at that lap joint right here. Same thing here. And if you look at it from the side, you can see how I've accomplished it. Okay? So what is our next step on this panel? Well, before we mount it to the base, this is the base, we need to cut out the dial glass. So what I'm going to do, you can't really see it on the camera here, but the dial sits right about here, down. It's about like this. So I'm going to do the appropriate measurements. I'm going to actually cut out a rectangle all the way through to the top here. And then I'm going to mount another piece of wood across the top to provide support. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because if you remember, we have a lid, and the lid is going to rest on this top. So instead of using this, this 3/8 inch or 2, I don't even know what size it is. I think it's 3/8 piece of plywood. We're going to use a standard 3/4 inch piece of strip across the top, and that will give me a nice foundation. So I'll come back when we have this cut out, and you'll see what that looks like. Alright, our bezel is ready to start mounting to the bottom plate there. You'll see I have a hole cut out there for the dial, and I have a bezel that I'm going to make and design that will go over that. And so that hole is very rough, it's not exact, but I'm okay with that because the bezel will cover it. Let's pan across this for a second, and then I'll show you what I had to do on the inside to build it. So you can see here I've put some wood filler, made sure it's nice and smooth. Everything's ready to go, like that. Let's flip this around, and we show you what we had to do from an inside perspective for the braces. Let's flip that up so I can see. Okay, so here's what we had to do. So we had to put some braces along the bottom here. And we also had to put a brace here, and these are where the knobs come through. So this also serves the purpose of straightening out this board. So we've got braces here, and the braces fit inside these indents right here. Alright, so if I put this on and push, this board's not going to go anywhere. So that's the custom board that we had to make. And now we're ready to start doweling this thing. There is a slight bow here, right here. But that's no problem. When we dowel it, that'll take that right out. So that's going to be our next step. So we are in awesome shape. We're going to start building this thing, and the construction is going to start. So I think what I'll do is I'll end this episode here, and the next episode we'll pick up in the wood shop, in my garage, doing the dowel work. Okay? So that's where we are. We've come to a good spot, and we'll see you guys in episode 6, I think. Take care.